So I'm sitting on the couch, my phone rings and it's Steve. He said, you might not be here tomorrow. Give him a buzz.
Life was looking pretty fucking dark, to be honest.
Today's guest, Heath Shelmerdine, is a successful Australian entrepreneur who has built multiple businesses across South Australia.
And you would look at businesses or people, I do it, and you go, fuck, you could easily sell that.
He joins Michael to unpack why so many people resist coaching.
What was the resistance about the coaching?
My first thought was, why would I be taking advice from a dude that may or may not be as successful as me financially?
And reveal how the very thing he once resisted ended up saving his life.
I just found out that my wife had had an affair. Kids were coming and going. I was suicidal. But it ended up being a conversation within my circle of friends. We can't help you anymore. Have a chat with Michael. And then I think I reached out and he said, let's catch up, probably better in person. And you've helped me immensely.
Heath reveals the mindset shift that turned him from a coaching hater into a firm believer.
Mike Tyson's coach is not tougher than him. And when you work that answer out, that's when you sort of cross over.
Based on what you know now to where you were when we met, if you had to give someone one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
It is...
So I'm sitting on the couch, Sunday night, my phone rings and it's Steve, a mutual mate of ours, and he says, I got this mate who's in a bad place. Can you give him a buzz? And I said, I'm not going to buzz him, but he can buzz me. And gave my number, I think it was like 6, 7 o'clock at night. And you reached out to me. Run me through that moment of our first conversation.
Well, that's straight into it, guys. I mean, hi, how you going? I'm Heath. I'm on the Michael Mojo podcast. But no, we can start there, mate. So the first time I reached out to you was, I can't remember, did I call you on the Sunday night?
It was a Sunday night.
It was at night I did call you?
It was at night. It was like, 7, 8 o'clock.
Well, what do you want to know? What was the purpose of the call?
Yeah, like you reached out because you were in a pretty bad place. And you were like, you're a successful business owner. You know, you've achieved some great things and you've hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
What was going on that night and what made you reach out?
Well, I just found out that my wife had had an affair, to be honest. Kids were coming and going. Life was looking pretty fucking dark, to be honest. I mean, at that point, I was, suicidal. I was thinking all the things that you shouldn't be thinking, that you look back now 5 years later and you say and you think, fuck, what was I even thinking those things? But that night, that's exactly what it was. And you were sort of sent to me or spoken about as in a sense of, this guy's pretty good. He's a bit of a business coach. He's a bit of a life coach. I can't even remember how you were described or what you were described as, to be honest. But it ended up being a conversation of within my circle of friends or Steve who referred me, we can't help you anymore. Have a chat with Michael. And that was sort of the chat. And then I think I reached out and you said, let's catch up, probably better in person. And you may recall it probably in more detail than me, but I reckon that's how I reckon it went. Something like that.
I was sitting on my office floor it was like still 10 o'clock at night and we're still chatting. It was like we spoke for a couple of hours and it was,
right.
You're in a pretty dark place.
That's funny that you remember that though. Like all the dudes that you speak to or provide advice for or mentor, and you remembered me, little old Heath over here. So
hey, if you speak to Jess, she'll say, Michael remembers shit that clients say.
Yeah.
But if I ask him to go to the shop and get peanut butter, he'll fucking forget it.
Yeah, that's
I
your
remember.
ADHD,
I remember
mate.
those conversations. I remember. I forget people's names all the time, all that shit. But I remember all the stuff for coaching. That's it
was obviously significant to me. It started a friendship with us. Obviously, that's gone on over the last 5 years. Sort of up, down, up, down. It's like, you know what you sort of like? You're like a doctor, aren't you? Like you go to you when you need a tune-up.
I hope you don't come to me when you're sick, mate.
You stay away when you think you're doing all right.
There's no one putting a thermometer up your bum.
You know what I mean? Like you're one of those sort of people that float in and out.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I would describe it. But I mean, I would think that we've become mates.
Yeah.
We've done some work together. We've done some coaching together. You've been on my podcast. I'm out on yours. I mean, we both got the car thing in common. We've got a big, you use the word community circle that everybody knows everybody, don't they?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So no, I think that throughout that we've become mates, and you've helped me immensely.
Thank you. I remember it because it was something that, I don't really want to deal with too much, but it was a call from Steve on Sunday night, and he said, "Look, I got a friend who's in a bad place," and he'd spoken about you previously, and we'll get to some of the stuff like the previous conversations and stuff.
Hopefully it was good stuff.
It was all right.
Yeah.
But in that moment, he said, you know, you might not be here tomorrow if, you know, I don't chat. And I said, I can tell him to call the helpline. And he goes, nah, he won't. He's pretty strong-minded. He won't talk to anyone, but he'll probably talk to you. And that was the sort of the conversation. And I remember sitting on my office floor thinking, fuck, this could go one or two ways and it's probably not going to be good. So,
what do you reckon why do you think he thought I would speak to you? You ever thought about that?
Yeah, I have. Well,
not that I'm interviewing you, but
I want to know from you.
Yeah.
Why? Because this was where I wanted to go in this part here, because there's probably people who are listening to this who are business owners. You know, you've had plenty of people who've told you how successful you are, but in that moment, you sure as shit didn't feel successful and life was falling apart. You're about to lose your kids. You know, your marriage had just fallen apart. And, you know, no matter how much money you have in the bank, which, you know, for you is quite substantial compared to most people. But in that moment, you weren't feeling the success and all that stuff. And I guess I wanted to bring it back because the conversation, I remember Steve and Addie, who are mutual friends, and they've done our events. They said, you know, you and your ex should have come to our events and stuff like that. And they tried to get you there, but you were always pushing against it. Like, I don't want to. And so that's what I want to talk about, because there's probably a lot of people who are listening to this who are on the fence as well about like either personal development or personal growth or coaching or even.
Well, I wasn't I? I mean, you know that I was. You just said it then. I mean, and talk about it. Yeah, I'll give you from where I was, my view on it.
Yeah, what was the resistance like? What was the resistance about the coaching? Because even today when you walked in, I'm like, you're even different from the last time I saw you like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, look, it's a good question, and I'm happy to answer it for you. Because people actually ask me all the time, funny enough, they go, oh, you know, your mate's with Mojo, you're doing a bit of stuff with him. You know, what do you think? And they're on the fences as well. And so let's go back to me. I was 100% on the fence about it. I mean, because my first thought, rightly or wrongly, my first thought was always, why would I be taking business advice from a dude that's not in my field, may or may not be as successful as me financially, may or may not have such a large company as I did. So that fence or that resentment goes up straight away. That, you know, the prickle on the back of your neck. Most business people have it until they cross over, and I call it a crossing over, right? You resent the help because you think you don't
religious.
need it. Yeah. Well,
So it was a spiritual
I know Tim's
enlightenment for
religious, so he's laughing in the background. But no, it's like a crossing over for business people, right? And I'll try and explain it in a way that people understand. So these business owners, like myself, and I'm speaking about myself, you think you've made it, done it, doing it, don't need anybody else to tell you how to do it, right? Somebody comes along like you, and you're either you love you or hate you. You're either yin or yang, as you talk about balance and all the stuff you talk about. You're black or white, right? So you either appeal to people or you don't. No dissimilar to me, realistically. Most successful people are probably like that as well. So for me, I was like, nah, don't need it. Until you cross over. And the crossing over stage, I believe, is when you get to a point of maturity in your business, but then within yourself. And you start having the ability as a business owner to self-reflect. And you self-reflect on your journey, what you've achieved, where you've come from. And then you get to a point where you think, well, growing to the next level is going to require a team of people. And ultimately, I think that a coach, or let's say you, because you do some coaching with me, you provide that layer or that level of a team because you're able to call you, text you, catch up, hang out, bounce stuff around. I was always looking for somebody to give me, I've said it to you, that smoking gun. I'm going to pay X amount, but I want X amount. And it doesn't, I've learned that the coaching space is not like that. It's about bettering yourself with micro goals, micro conversations that ultimately lead to a bigger self-development or a shift in mindset. That shift in mindset filters down throughout your staff and your business, and which obviously makes you more money. That's my take on it. Did that answer it for you?
100%. It's interesting because it is an interesting perspective because I see this quite a lot, right? Like when you go to, let's talk about professional athletes, right? So a professional athlete has a coach. When you look at what a pro athlete goes through, so let's say Usain Bolt,
Yep.
you're not going to teach that motherfucker how to run better,
No.
right? But what you're going to do is you're going to pick up micro things, and those micro things might not lead to him learning how to run, but what it does is it takes off that 0.1 of a second.
Absolutely.
And that's the difference between being a world champion and not being a world champion.
I've said it to people. I use the analogy. I say Mike Tyson, Tiger Woods, dudes like that. Mike Tyson's coach is not tougher than him. He's an old dude. Do you know what I mean? So why does somebody that's the toughest guy on the planet need a coach? And when you work that answer out, that's when you sort of cross over. The other part of that resentment, though, man, is if you want to get real deep and honest, is fuck, this is going to go to... There was an element of jealousy, and I've never told you this, right? So you do things that I would love to do. So, like, I would love to write a book, or I'd love to be a motivational speaker. I'd love to stand on stage and do all the stuff you do, right? And I reckon if people are honest, they won't reach out to you because there's an element of jealousy, and I can own that, and I can say to you, dead set as a mate, there would have been that. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck, I'd love to do that. Nah, I'm not going to reach out because fuck that. It reminds you of your failings, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Deep.
I mean, it's a human behavior principle, right? Is that you don't put down someone unless you pedestal them.
Absolutely.
And I think that happens quite a lot. Like when you're on TikTok now, right, and showing your podcast, you just get all these fuck knuckles in the comments and shit, and they're all just pedestaling you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I wouldn't fucking do that, buddy. You wouldn't do anything. Shut up.
But
like,
you
you're
know
in the
what?
comments, right?
They still watch the full episode. So, hey, thanks for subscribing, guys.
Yeah.
It's hard. It is hard. I think if you're going to put yourself, what I've learned through this public space with our podcast and stuff, if you're going to put yourself out there, you're going to have to just roll with it because it can affect you.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you were affected by the shit I used to say about you, but, you know.
I was, mate. I lost sleep.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. No, we've gone full circle, though.
Yeah. And I find it sort of fascinating, and I'm curious.
Yeah.
What was the thing that
I'm just
changed
get
it?
comfy on your couch, mate.
You're all right. Just make yourself comfy.
Yeah,
I was going to say make yourself comfy, but you take your pants off and
Yeah.
we're not getting it taken down by YouTube. But I'm curious because you went through this transformation, right? So the first time we had this like big conversation where, I didn't even know whether you were going to be here the next day or not be here. I mean, I was pretty certain that, I'd talk you through it and all that shit. And by the way, if you're in that state, I'm probably not the guy to reach out to a helpline, but I just knew that
because you're
I
not
could help
into
you.
that stuff generally, are you?
No, I'm pretty good with human behavior, and I've had to deal with
But the
it multiple
relationship
times.
sort of stuff, you're not big on that, are you? Like, that's not part of your portfolio of what you sell, is it? Relationship advice and counselling.
Well, no, definitely not.
Nah.
I definitely don't want to be a counsellor. But I mean, I work on relationships all the time because, a lot of business owners will come to me and they say things like, oh, my wife's holding me back, or, she just doesn't understand, or he doesn't understand, and so I have to explain to them the differences between masculine and feminine energy and then the differences between what a leader is and a follower, and one's always leading and one's following, and you've got different values and, going through all the stuff that's
Because
sort of
high
we've gone through.
performers would have relationship issues. So it must cross over into your training and coaching. It has to.
When you're a high performer, you have problems in everything. So like, I think we've spoken about this as well. When you work with a pro athlete will go, I'm not fast enough. So you make them faster. And then all of a sudden they go, you know what, but if I want to go a little bit better, I've got to get stronger. And so then they start working on their strength, and then they go, fuck, but I don't have the flexibility. Elite athletes are always working on the next thing. The issue is that when you're like that, it's never enough. Right. And I know you'll relate to this, and so do I, because you got to get to a point where you realize that when you're a high performer, nothing is ever enough.
We love
You never have enough money. You never have enough staff. You never have enough time. Like, it's never enough, right? But then you go through, I had to go through this transition. I know, we've been working on this as well. You go through this transition where you go, you know what, maybe the manual or the playbook for life isn't the same as an average person.
Maybe.
Because you have to realize that it's never enough. But your value doesn't come from the chase of the thing. Because most high performers think that if I work really, really hard, or I get to this point, then I'll be fulfilled, then I'll be happy, then I'll be enough. But the truth is it never gets there because you keep changing the goalposts because you're always chasing something. So you just have to go, you know what? I am fucking fulfilled. I actually love the chase. I love just doing what I do. And I'm going to keep working on it. I'll keep moving the goalposts. But Tony Robbins says something interesting. He says, there's the art of fulfillment and then there's the science of success. And they're not the same thing. Most people, their fulfillment comes from their success, which is why the two things are interrelated. But
Deep.
the thing is, you high performers will never be fulfilled if that's the case, which is like 90% of my clientele.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're going deep, guys. Subscribe. We're going deep.
Oh, it's just, fulfillment is just being. Like, you can be fulfilled doing anything. I mean, shit, I used to be a cleaner when I was like young and I used to love cleaning. I still love cleaning. I'll clean toilets and shit. It doesn't bother me.
Well, I've seen your house. It's fucking immaculate. I reckon last time I used your toilet, mate, I walked out and went, fuck, this guy's that clean. It's not funny. Put that on your business card. Hygiene freak.
It's probably just my ADHD. I can't handle shit not being in place.
All right, keep going. What's the next one? I'll keep him on track, guys.
Coming back to you, what have been some of the biggest key things that you've learned about leadership? Like you've got a decent team. I've been doing some training with the team and everything like that as well. But what have been the things what do you think has helped you as a leader to build your team?
There's a couple of questions in there. I mean, the first one was about leadership. So I think being a good leader for me, what I've learned is it's not what you say, it's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I've learned recently. So you can stand in a room and bark out orders, do this, do that, set all the KPIs in the world. But I think a strong attribute to being a good leader is doing rather than saying. So, and I don't mean do the task, do the action or live the life, like live the way you want the business to become. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Have I explained it right?
Yeah, 100%.
So that's the first part of it. What was the second part? There was another part.
I can't remember, but it
balance. Sorry, I've come back to it. Being more balanced within myself and less erratic has helped me become a better leader. Because obviously, if you go to work and you're all over the shop, let's use the word all over the shop, or you're a bit of a scattergun approach, like there's a problem and it's, fuck, let's just fix that. Or there's another one, and you're really reactive to these problems. You show no balance. And I think when you're in a work environment as a leader, people feed off of you naturally and they go, fuck, this guy's all over the shop. So what happens is then they start becoming all over the shop. Or I'm erratic with my decision making. So then when I drive off and leave for the day, they're erratic with their decision making. But if I can come in with more of a balanced approach or a presence that shows balance, I reckon it seems to flow better and better decisions come out of your team.
Awesome. What have been your key hires? Like you've gone from being a tiler to then building your multiple businesses now, everything from property to, your bathroom business, retail to
construction.
Yep. So when you do all of that, how do you run through the process of hiring? What do you look for in your first hire to all of that stuff? Because I mean, most of the time, like I can call you and you're sort of like, there's some days you're busy, but most of the time you're like, sort of a bit chilled. So how do you hire so that you can get that time freedom?
Well, that hiring process has matured over the last 25 years. It used to be, show me your resume, find somebody with experience in the field. Yep, tick the box. You've got experience. You'll be fine. You'll fit in. Over the years, you realise that you've built a culture that fits my personality and my business. So people don't just fit in. That it doesn't work like that. So what I do now through that process is I don't necessarily hire on experience or prerequisites to where you've worked. I almost hire on, let's say, vibe, because that's the word everybody's using now. It's not the professional word, but the vibe of the person. Culture. Yep. Culture's the Michael Mojo training word, but vibe, culture, personality. That's what I look for within a person, because then if their values sort of align with what we're doing and what I'm doing and what I'm trying to build, then they sort of slot right in. Whereas if they're disjointed in that area, it never works.
What do you think has been the biggest growth factors that you had to go through of being an operator? Because I just got off of a talk then with a group of tradies and I spoke about the operator trap where, like most of the guys on the tools, someone's sick, so they hop back on the tools. they're erratic, they're running around, they're chasing cash, but they never actually become a proper leader, which is why staff never stay and all that. How did you make that transition to like, I could just do everything myself, but I'm not going to?
For me, I never wanted to do it all myself. So that's probably the difference. Like I never had the mindset of a long-term goal of ever doing it myself. You know, people say to me as a joke, like my brother or whatever, they go, you're a professional subcontractor. You know, like I subby everything out, you know, whether that's checking an email, opening the mail, you know, whatever it is. So I reckon I've always had that ability to think, you know what, I really want other people doing these things for me.
So you're a master delegator.
Yeah, I reckon I am. Yeah. And I know that won't come across on camera real well. It'll almost come across arrogant. But I mean, ultimately, look at it like this. Why would I start a business that I wanted to scale and have multiples of, e.g. stores, real estate, employees, whatever that may be? Why would I start that and want to be the only person that held all the cards? I think that's a real small-minded way to look at it.
How do you deal with the idea of people not doing the job up to your standard or your quality? Because I think that's part of the operator trap. Like I can always do it better than everybody.
Yep. You've got to allow people to fail to succeed, but you've got to be there as a leader to just jump in right at that crucial point. And I don't mean jump in and save the day. That's not what I mean. But you've got to be a good enough leader to go, you know what? Now's the time you need my input, whether that be feedback, delegation, support, restructuring, more information, retraining. They're all skills that a leader has. Mentoring is a big one. But to answer your question, I think you've got to know when to do that. So you give somebody enough rope, but then not enough to hang themselves.
How do you give away part of that authority and that accountability and all that stuff and have the trust there that I'm going to leave you to manage or do something? Because you've got management.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, you've got management and all that type of stuff. How do you give, like, when do you give authority?
Over time, it's incremental. I don't think it's a case of, and for me, the snippet of my story, Tyler in a van, you know, 1 guy, 2 guys, 60 guys sort of thing. It happens incrementally, and you self-train that internally. So you don't just wake up one day and go, oh, here's the keys to the castle. If you shit the bed, you shit the bed. It happens slowly over time. So that's the answer you're looking for. It's something that it's acquired. It doesn't just happen. So guys that are watching going, oh, I'm an operator and I want to be a business owner and have multiple staff and scale and all of that. The advice from me, and it's only my advice, I mean, who am I to be giving advice? I'm on your podcast.
This is awesome.
But I'm fuck all in the big scheme of it. So, I mean, like, the short answer is you're not just going to wake up and go, oh, I'm now a business owner. I believe it is incremental steps done over a slow period of time. Some people do it faster than others, but I don't believe it happens overnight. I think it's a mindset change. If you can get some coaching along the way to help you through that, great. That I would recommend things like that. But it is ultimately experience and it's a growth period. It can be a natural progression. But then there's the other argument in there, man. Like some people just want to stay at that level. Or some people want to stay at that level. They don't want to stay at that level, but they don't know how to get to the next level.
That's like 90% of them.
Well, that's why they stay in, you know, we use the dollar range, don't we? We say small business owners, sole traders, they stay at 100,000 turnover to 800 or $1 million roughly. You know what I mean? They stay in that space and they have, and you would look at businesses or people, I do it and you go, fuck, you could easily scale that. You could have it's a phenomenal business, but you're not doing this, and this to get to that next tier. You'd come across it every day.
Yeah, literally every day.
Oh, I say it because I find myself giving people that advice. Oh, I said it to my cleaner the other 6 months ago. She was at my house and she had a couple of girls cleaning for her and I was like, oh, you know, sit down. I'm writing it on the whiteboard and showing her this and showing her that. And I'm thinking, you just haven't got it though because you're in, you call it operator land, just didn't have it. Whatever the word is, didn't have it.
What do you think it makes, because just you said you've either got it, what is it that made you get it? As in like, what gave you the drive and the ambition and the like Because it's definitely not easy to scale a business, right? Like you get the shit kicked out of you as you learn all of those lessons. Like you lose money financially, there's fuck ups, there's client issues, then there's tax and accounting. And it's like, it's almost like it's a never ending process of just getting like, it's almost,
it's a big mountain to climb. I think you've got to want to challenge yourself. You've got to be built different, I reckon. I reckon you're sort of built a little bit different, or something in your life has led you to a point of, I use the word survival, where you go, I'm not going to stay at this level. I'm not going to survive. I'm going to go to the next level. Or it's just the concept of wanting more. I've always had the concept of wanting more. Now, I don't want viewers to go, oh, he wants more money. Let's take money out of it for the question. For me, the wanting more concept can be from waking up and wanting more than yesterday, bettering yourself in every aspect. That's probably a big driver for me, the wanting to be better than yesterday thing. But that's an internal thing.
Yeah.
Like some people wake up and just go, mate, I don't know. I don't even think like that. I've had combos with mates and people, and they just think, mate, you're just next level. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just want to get up and have my lunch break and get paid on a Thursday and go home and go to the footy club and do whatever they do. And that's great because everybody's different. Like, if the world was all fucked up, high revving people like you or me, then, like, you know, it'd be a pretty fast paced sort of setup.
Well, I was surprised because I said, do you want a coffee? And you're like, nah. And I knew you must be like almost ready to go full off tap.
I can't stand the smell of it, man.
Oh, you can't?
Nah,
No
it's
kidding.
fucking gross.
Jeez, if anyone meets you, they'd think you're like 15 down for the day.
Honest to God, right? I remember when I was married, Grace used to love, and you know Grace, so I can say her name, love coffee. And I was like, we are never having coffee in the house. It stinks. She'd look at me like, what is wrong with you, mate? Like,
Some people love it, some people
Yeah,
don't.
I know.
Jess can't handle it.
can't she?
Nah, if she has a tea, just a small amount of caffeine.
I'm still trying to work out how
revs her up.
Jess handles you, man. The fucking speed that you run at.
Yeah, well,
We might get her on one day.
Yeah, she's been on the podcast.
Has she?
Yeah, we've done
I'm gonna look up the
episodes.
episode.
Our episodes always go nuts because we're like counterbalances.
Yeah.
And so she thinks completely different to how I think. She's
Yeah.
very structured, whereas I'm like, I
Erratic.
won't say I'm scattered, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
I got shit to do and I'm going
Yeah.
flat out at it. Like if I'm getting somewhere, I'm getting there at 300 Ks an hour. Right. Hence the supercars.
Yeah. All right, next question. Sorry, mate. I keep going off track.
No, this is
You're
perfect.
right, yeah.
So when we met, you knew that I love cars and supercars and stuff, and we've had some conversations over a little while.
I thought
What
it
have
was
been-
full on wanky.
Go
the
on,
truth,
talk about it.
Honestly, because people say to me, like, no shit, like, well, as you know, an ex-girlfriend reached out to you about me, didn't she? You know what I mean? Is it all right to go there with this one?
You can do whatever you want.
And she was like, oh, you know, he used to bag you and fucking slag you off for that. And she'll be watching, and 100%.
Well, I knew you did, so it didn't bother me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. At times.
You wouldn't be the first person who shit canned me and became a client.
Ask Steve. Perfect. You know, he'd say, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if it's for me. Bit of this, bit wanky, bit not wanky. But getting back to the car thing, I remember leaving your house one day and there was two emotions with me, right? And as you know, I'm pretty upfront, right? So the first one was jealousy. I thought, fucking hell, this guy's got $1 million car. A, what the fuck? What a waste of money. B, typical, bit wanky. Then you think, but you know what? I'd go and drop $1 million on a boat. That's not wanky to me, but it might be wanky to you. So it was only wanky to me because I wasn't into cars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then the other emotion kicks in, right? And this is the fucking deep shit. You go, am I a little bit jealous because I can't afford it? Am I a little bit jealous because I'm not doing it? Am I a little bit jealous because I don't have the $1 million boat that I want? Fuck. And that's where most people go wrong. They go, what a fucking wanker, what a flog. Whereas I went, okay, cool. Bit of a wanker, bit of a flog, bit of over the top. How do I do it? How do I do it?
There's our clips.
There's your
right, I'm
clips,
going to
yeah.
put that on my website.
Am I
Bit of
allowed
a
to come
wanker,
back?
bit of a flog.
I'm
Mojo
probably not
Human
allowed to come
Performance.
back. No, but
Mate, this is your last podcast.
yeah, no, that's not my view now. So please get to my view now so that people get the both ends of it. So then I went away from that and I thought, hang on, but all the stuff that he's just tried to drum into me in that coaching session, those few days that I did with you, I thought there has to be something in it because you don't get to that level. You clearly didn't win it in a cross lotto. You know what I mean? We know where you came from with your upbringing. So it's come from hard work. You don't work hard physically on your body. So it's obviously in your education, in the way you sell your product to people. And you're ultimately a public speaker. So obviously something you're saying is resonating with people to buy your shit. So there has to be a part of that works, whether it's 5%, 10%, 1%. And that's what I say to people, man. Like when they say, oh, what's he like? I go, look, not for everybody. But if you take a certain percentage out of it and you grow by a certain percentage, we'll work that out with your revenue base. Then there's your car. Look at it like that.
I say things online though about owning that car.
Yeah.
And you've had some revelations that you've spoken about with now
Kids.
having a supercar and stuff like that. So like I always used to say like, you know, I talk openly about money and I'm not really like emotionally attached to money. Just like it's just a tool. I use it to do the shit that I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't like get a little bit stressed about it sometimes if it gets pretty low, and then other times like I pump if I need to. But like I'm not really driven by money. I'm more driven by like how I live and what I can do and the people I surround myself with and so on. I used to say stuff like that, and you know, I'd say about the owning a supercar is fucking awesome because you just inspire people and shit like that. What have you learned on your journey since getting one?
Well, I think I told you about the dude that came up to me at the servo. Did I ever tell you that story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But share it.
Guy came up to me at the servo. I was filling up the car, my car, and a guy's looking at me across the pumps, and he's shaking his head at me while he's filling up his car. And I thought, oh, fuck, here we go. This is not going to be good, no matter how this goes. I thought he was being a dick. And he calls me over. And I'm walking past him. He's like, hey, mate, how you going? He's like, I've got 2 properties, 2 small kids, a little soul trading business. He goes, how do you get to that level? And I thought, fuck, well, this is great. This is not what I thought it was going to be. So I spent 10 or 15 minutes talking with this gentleman, exchanged phone numbers, gave him a little bit about my story, gave him some advice. And it went from there. So I was inspired that I could inspire him. What a car does, or a materialistic item of that value, it's perception. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you're perceived differently to people, rightly or wrongly. I mean, personally, I don't agree with that. Like you should be able to roll up anywhere it wouldn't make a difference what vehicle you're in and deliver the same information. But that just shows you what public perception is like, isn't it, to the everyday person? They instantly see a lime green car of that value and they think that you're doing better than you possibly. Successful. Yeah. And that breeds into, you know, what's success to you, what's success to Tim, to the viewers, to me. Everybody's success level is different. But what it does in a positive way, because that was your question, it puts you in the space to have those conversations. So that particular conversation wasn't about me and my success. It was about helping this young dude, early 20s, become a better version of what he is today, tomorrow, which I love. And that's my motto, as I said at the start. So for me, the car put me in a conversation that potentially helped somebody else.
And then what about kids?
Oh, they love it.
Because I remember you saying, I remember getting a message from you and you're like, it was something like, I get it now. Because I used to say like, my car is just a reflection of my inspiration. Like I don't give a fuck what people think about me, because you drive around and someone thinks you're a dickhead, but someone thinks you're amazing.
But kids love you.
But
It's like a big Hot Wheels car.
Yeah.
But it's more than the Hot Wheels car, because what it is a kid rolls up to you on his mountain bike with his mate and he's 14. Mate, love the car, Lamborghini, all that. You're like, you know what, man, here's the keys, sit in it, start it. I'll take you around the block, take photos, they post it, all of that. But then they always say, how did you get that? Mm-hmm. And that's the moment you can either be a dickhead and get in your car and drive off, or you can give them 5 minutes of your time and go, you know what, man, do this, this, and this. I mean, you know, to a 14-year-old kid, you're not going to go into a fucking business coaching session, but you can still give them enough of your time that they ride off on their mountain bike and remember that moment. And then later on in life, it will come back to them and they'll go, you know what, there was this dude once that told me this. And that's that 1 or 2%, isn't it, that you can give to other people?
100%.
So that's the best part about it. It's not the flashy dinners with your partner, cruising around Rundle Street, dressed up, thinking you're a gangster. It's actually those smaller moments with those people that you inspire and they go, fuck yeah. Because there would have been somebody, you or me or everybody would have gone, I want to be that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I remember saying to my dad, I was crossing the road and a red Ferrari drove past.
Yeah, I want one of them.
And I said to him, I want one of those. I'm going to have one of those when I grow up or something like that. And my dad said, you got to be rich to have one of those. And I was like, right, I'm going to get fucking rich. So that was it.
Do you reckon, though, you can inspire the same people if you didn't have those things?
To me, everything is just an amplification of who you are, right? Like if you're an insecure prick and you buy a supercar,
That's
gonna
me.
make you more
That's
insecure.
100% me. I want everybody to watching. I'm the super insecure prick. No, I'm not the prick, but I'm the insecure guy.
But we've had this conversation, right?
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people will buy a supercar, or like I get messages and they're like, I want to buy a supercar, but they don't really want a supercar. Like I'm a car guy. I love cars. I love I'm always thinking like, fuck, how do I get a bigger garage? And like, how do I get more cash? Because like, and it's not just supercars. Like I love, old Jap cars. And
You like cars.
I'm a
You're
car
a car
guy.
dude,
Yeah,
whereas I'm a boat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so these are the conversations, and I realize this from coaching people. Like I got a client that I spend time with every now and again, and he's an airplane guy, like flies around a helicopter and shit like that. Like if he's going to drop a couple of $1 million, he's dropping it on a plane. Whereas he rang me up and he's like, I'm thinking about buying a Ferrari. And I was like, why do you want a Ferrari? And he's like, well, I'm getting a bit older and I've just never had one. And I was like, do you think that's a good enough reason? He's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he still hasn't got it.
Yeah.
Because it's just in his head, he just wanted to have a Ferrari, but like it's not his thing. He's a plane guy. He'd rather drop that same money on a helicopter or something like that. Whereas another client of mine's a boat guy. He'd rather just buy a bigger boat.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm a car guy.
And I want a bigger boat than Lee, your client you're talking about. Yeah.
You know what? I'd rather go out on your boat and then you can clean the fucker because I couldn't think of anything worse than having a boat.
Put the $6,000 worth of fuel in it.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything worse than having a boat.
Yeah.
But I'd hire one. I just wouldn't own one.
Hilarious.
So I think it's each their own. But yeah. What have been some of the biggest changes that you think you've gone through since working with me? We've spent more time over the last 4 or 5 months or so. What do you think have been some of the biggest changes and shifts that you've made mentally and so on as a business owner, but also as a dad?
Yeah, I think the one I said before, balance, is big. That's a big thing that I've learned throughout our process together. Accountability, probably those things. Probably self-awareness, and even a little bit of without getting too emotional, like the old pat on the back, I think goes a long way for yourself. And I know business owners will resonate with that because we often step back and go, you know what, we've actually done all right. Like to get to this point, we've done all right. And I think it's important to go, yeah, well done, mate, to yourself. Because we do it to your team, don't you? Like everybody goes, oh, you're doing a great job, mate, you're doing a great job, thank you, thank you, thank you. But that self-love within yourself, within your own business, that's something I wasn't doing. And probably even the last month, I reckon I've started a little bit more of that. And I think in turn, that flows through to the balance.
How's that changed you as a person by having more of that like self-confidence, self-respect? And I just want to segue just before we come back to it, like something that I teach, which most of psychology doesn't really understand and most people don't understand, that you've got, if you study psychology, they say that humans are driven by pain and pleasure. But I think that that's not true. I think that most people are driven by pain and pleasure, but pain is normally created from the pursuit of pleasure, right? So like we can all go to moments where we've done something that we thought was going to give us pleasure, and then after you're like, what the fuck did I do that for? Or why did I do that? Whether it's buying shit that to impress others, and then you go, fuck, why did I buy that? Or, it could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be women or men or whatever. There's always this like cycle of pleasure and pain. Like we try to get away from pain and we want to move towards pleasure, but the pleasure never lasts and it normally ends up back in pain. And so you just loop.
So what's the question?
There's this middle point, which is inspiration, which is just like, I just do this because it's what I'm born to do. And it's like pleasure and pain sits in the middle, right? Like you got kids.
Yeah.
Kids are both pain and pleasure together, right?
Yeah.
That's called
and
love.
Some, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess my question to you is like, do you think that over the last couple of months, you've experienced more inspiration because you've had more of that self-worth and self-confidence and self-respect to just say, you know what, I don't need pain in order to drive my motivation anymore? Because that's how most people who are probably listening to this, they probably use pain as a motivator versus inspiration as a motivator.
I don't think I'm at that point yet. No. Sorry, you wanted an honest answer. You
No,
know
no,
what I mean?
I want you to give
I love
what
the
you
question,
think it is.
but no, I still feel that my best kickstart is in that moment of despair or that, not self-pity, but that at the bottom before the rebuild. That's where I feel I get that reinvigorated spark to go again or to build again or to grow again.
It's interesting because you
I'm
say
not
go again.
Do you know what I mean? Like I'm inspired after that.
Okay.
Not
what's
prior.
what's the part that you're inspired by? Like what's the
Being able to do it. I inspire myself when I go, you know what, I'm ready to go again.
so it's the commitment to growth that is the inspiration
Probably,
for you.
yeah.
But you need the flint or the spark
Yeah.
of like, fuck.
Yeah,
I've
I
hit
call
rock
it
bottom.
despair. I mean, it may be the wrong word, but
Interesting. That's something we need to work on.
yeah.
We need
Are
to
we
bust
doing
that.
are we coaching me or are we
No.
interviewing?
We're
But
just-
that's for me
we're
what it
shooting the
is.
shit.
Yeah. That's what it is for me. It
Yep.
really is. And everybody's different though, aren't they? I mean, fuck, you've interviewed other people today before me. So, I mean, they've all probably got a different answer.
You've grown your business quite a lot, right? So when we first started working together, you wanted to open up another shop and so on. You felt like you were being held back, and then you made that commitment. When you commit to that growth, what's normally your process of like, right, I'm going to commit to this and let's fucking get this done? Because I think a lot of business owners will say to me like, I want to grow, but the moment they start going through shit like staffing problems or tax or cash flow or whatever, they then back off the gas again. What makes you different?
I don't ever worry about those things because I just understand through experience they're just part of that process. So if you're going to get into a business or try and grow a business and you're worried about cash flow or staff or tax, I mean, they're what I call everyday problems. You're fucking delusional if you think you're going to scale anything and not run into those micro roadblocks. So for me, I don't even accept them as a problem. I just accept them as a part of the journey.
So you have like these cash flow problems, and in your head you're just like, that's just part. Like it just is what it is.
It is what it is. Well, look at it like this. You're all about the yin and the yang and the balance and the up and the down and the sun and the moon and the rain and all of that.
You
right?
make me sound good, mate.
No, but that's what you're about, right? That's what your coaching is. So ultimately, if you're going to scale or grow a business, you're going to run into cash flow problems. If you're going to increase your revenue, you're going to run into a tax problem. If you're going to increase your business or your brand, you're going to run into staff issues. So they're the yin and the yangs, aren't they?
How do you not get stressed out about it? And the reason why I'm asking these questions
Yeah.
isn't so much for me because I know the answer.
Yeah,
But
it is for dudes
there's-
watching at home.
Yeah, a lot of people who are watching, you built multiple successful companies.
Yeah.
You're here today, you're not stressed out, you're not wigging out, like your phone's not going off every 2 minutes. And,
Yeah.
I'm assuming you won't get off here and have 40 emails from fucking pissed off
I
people.
won't even have one, I don't think. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
so you've done really well at scaling a business
Yeah.
and scaling people and all that sort of stuff. Because I remember one of your goals was you said to me, I want to build the next shop. And we set that as a goal. And then I hadn't heard from you for like a year or so. And then I get this message, mate, you've been
Yeah,
proud of me
did
and
it.
you took a
Yeah.
photo of the,
Yeah, I remember,
all the
yeah.
sign and all that shit, right? You've done really well with that. But most business owners, they just cap themselves. Why do you think so many people are attached emotionally to money and not wanting to have problems and all that shit versus you or people like you as well who scale, who just go, it's just part of it. Like you just have to.
I think you've got to get somebody probably like yourself to get in their head and give them the advice that those problems come with that level of success. But I mean, there isn't anybody scaling or growing or doing that doesn't have some level of problems. It's just how you get your head around it and how you handle it. I mean, I probably stress about things that other people don't stress about. I stress about whether I've spent enough time with my kids rather than whether I've made enough money. Everybody has different levels of worry. Again, I think experience comes into it. Like if you're starting a business, so I started a business last year, right? Though one of the worries would be cash flow. One of the worries would be staff. One of them would be tax. But if you had a business for 25 years, you would think that you've acquired enough money or enough staff or enough years of doing your tax to understand those problems. So experience is a big one. But again, I mean, and I've said it 3 times, the balance of life and your headspace, that's what helps you through those moments. But I think the main one, without getting all woo-ha-y and shit, is, you know, because I know
Mate, we're going to crank some incense.
Yeah, because I know you're
you
not
asked me
into
about my
yeah, show them the chain, man. Show them the fucking New Zealand rock. That's it. What was the first thing I said when I walked in? I was like, what the fuck is that? Nah.
I just got to New Zealand.
But no, man, I think self-belief is the big one.
Yep.
I think you have to have the self-belief that nothing is going to derail you from that trajectory. So whatever that trajectory looks like, whether it's lots of shops, lots of staff, lots of plumbers or electricians or whatever working for you or whatever your particular field is, you have to be obsessed with that self-belief. Like there's a level of obsession within yourself that says nothing's going to stop me from getting here whatsoever. And I honestly believe you've almost got to be slightly delusional to some of these problems because they are big problems, aren't they? Like you can't say to a guy that's got a business, oh, you know, you're not worried about cash flow and he's fucking shitting it at night and not sleeping because he's got $1,000 left in the bank and he's got to find 20 grand for wages. So you do have to have a level of delusion. But I think the people that are successful and do it well have a really good balance or a really good appetite to hold all of those things in their own place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think it also comes down to the judgment of what's supposed to happen versus what's actually happening?
What do you mean? Gives a bit
So,
more.
like a lot of people start a business and they'll go, you know, I want to start a business so I can do what I want, when I want, how I want.
Yep.
But it's like day one of business. And it's like that shit is not going to happen for a long
yeah,
time.
man,
Like you're going to get body slammed.
Fucking dream boats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't match that, they're like, oh, this is fucked. Like, and then they start getting stressed and angry and it's.
I'm going to start a business so I can just go and hang around at the river water skiing in my boat all weekend. Well, no, when you're going to start a business, you're going to be actually working in your business all weekend, watching everyone else at the river in their boats.
Yep.
That's the truth of it. Or I want to start a business so I can finish at 2 o'clock on a Friday. Well, mate, you'll be starting another job at 2 o'clock on a Friday and you'll be still on that job at Sunday at 2 o'clock. That's the truth of it. The difference is the people that do it and practice it in real life and real time to the people that just say it. There's an illusion. There is an element of an illusion with business people. You either live it, breathe it, do it, or you stand back and you create this illusion of what you want and the gap is too big. And that's the difference between the person that does it and the person that doesn't.
I got a question about that though, because is it an illusion or a delusion when you're sitting there with cash flow problems? Because what I've seen is like you're very good at seeing what it is, right? So if there's a cash flow problem, you're like, yeah, well, of course there is. It's fucking, we're growing.
Yep.
And good business owners just see it for what it is. You know, like 3 staff members quit and then they look at their business and they go, I understand why they quit. Like we're probably not doing the best in our management
It's
and
a
leadership.
culture
And
problem.
it's
I've
a
had
culture
that exact
issue.
experience, haven't I? Literally the last few weeks. People have quit and I've gone, fuck, it's a culture thing. Has to be. Buck stops with me. I create the culture. I'm the business. I'm the brand. I'm the you know, so that's culture.
Yeah.
Fuck, I've got to think quick here and change the culture.
So I see that as just dealing with reality, right? Like this is the issue. So the issue is we got cash flow issues. Right, now how are we going to fix it? Let's get to work and let's figure this out. And you figure out because you've identified it, you ask good questions and then you solve the problem. What I find is a lot of business owners go, I want to scale a business, but I don't want staffing problems. Yeah, but you're going to have staffing problems. Yeah, but like, fuck, like you just can't find good staff. It's like, well, of course, because they never deal with what's actually happening. They just deal with what they think should happen. It should be easy and they shouldn't have cash flow issues. And then that creates all their emotional volatility and they're all fucking stressed all the time.
It's that, or they're thinking about the end goal before they've done step one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you use the car. Let's just use that because it's an easy analogy. We've been talking about cars, talking about your car, blah, blah, blah. I want a business so I can drive $1 million McLaren. Mate, I drove 10 Datsuns before I had the $1 million McLaren.
Mate, Datsuns these days are worth $1 million bucks.
Yeah, they
No, I
are.
know what
But
you mean.
I was going to say Gemini, but you can't find one. But no, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the walk before you can run. But do you know where that's come from? And again, only my fucking opinion. The world has created that illusion. So for example, you start a business now, you can go and with an ABN number and no financial history or no trading history, get a low doc loan and borrow $80,000 for a new Hilux. You look like a baller straight away. You're towing your trailer around. You've got a $70,000, $80,000 Hilux. People think you've made it.
You
But you've got
spent $5,000 on signage.
Yeah, but you've got a cash flow problem straight away because you've overindulged.
Yep.
But the world has allowed us or business people to do that because it's so readily available, meaning the money you can get on tick. Tomorrow, bang, finance. So the world allows you to do it. Social media creates an illusion of success before it's successful. I mean, I post a picture of a green Lamborghini and people think you're a fucking millionaire. I could be renting it, in debt for it. Fucking, it might not even be mine, for fuck's sake. I mean, it is. But the illusion of success is rife, isn't it? So
Everyone still makes those assumptions. So whether I have it all the time. Like I have people, on social media, they're like, "Oh, it's fucking rented." Coaches these days renting cars. I'm like, it's had my number plates on. I've had it for 5 years, or 6 years now. That's a fucking long rental.
Exactly. Or you go, well, hey, I got a loan for it one day and I paid it off over the last 5 years. So I've worked incredibly hard to do that over increments. They're those micro goal increments that I talked about earlier. And I've paid it off. So it is what it is. But that my point being is the world today is so here, now, ready, tomorrow. You haven't learned the skills or acquired the skills to do it the other way. And I think that's where people fall into the business trap. I mean, you're about promoting your coaching. Obviously, it's your podcast. So, I mean, I'm going to drive it back to get yourself a coach, get yourself somebody. You said it on my podcast about, well, at least they hire you. At least you've made all these fuck ups yourself so you can instill them in other people.
We're going to learn from your mistakes or someone else's.
So you might as well learn from someone else.
You're either going to pay you're going to pay to learn from their mistakes, or you're going to pay through your own.
You pay either way.
Yeah.
You pay. There's a price you pay for any level of success. Now,
there's a price you pay for not being successful as well.
Yeah, but there's a price you pay for success. So wouldn't you want to pay the cheapest price? And if that is a little bit of coaching that can potentially help you or give you 5% of what you need, maybe that's the right price for you to pay. Maybe it's not. Maybe fuck it up yourself, get a $100,000 tax bill, loan up on a car, run into all these problems. I mean, fucking go for it, man. Or take a little bit of advice and, But the here today, wanting tomorrow thing, it's too rife within small business.
What do you say to people who reach out to you and ask you for business advice? Like I know you've sent a few people my way and they just sit on the fence and they mess around and they sort of like dabble and all that sort of stuff. How do you deal with that mentally in your own head? Because people want advice, but they don't really want to listen to. Most of the time, they don't want to listen.
You or advice to me, or both of them?
Just in general, like most people don't want to listen to the advice you give them unless it's the advice that they want.
Look,
but then they don't really know what advice they want.
It's humbling when somebody rings you up for business advice. Like I had a guy, I don't know how much time we've got, messaged me the other week after one of my podcasts, and he said, "Hey man, I'm starting a particular business. Can I have some advice? This is what I want to do. I find you quite inspirating, quite motivating." And I was like, wow, that's super humbling. Do you know what I mean? So that was lovely. I think your question depends how they ask and what they want in return for it. This particular person just genuinely was giving something a go, which I love. I like the save somebody thing, like naturally, like I have it in me. Some people don't. I've got a super successful mate in business, $150 million a year company plus. If you asked him for advice, he'd look at you like you come off the bottom of the shoes, like, mate, I'm not giving you advice, fuck off, learn it your own. I'm the other way where I go, oh, this is cool, man. Like you're actually asking me. I don't really view myself as somebody mega successful, can't even say the fucking word. So it's humbling for me. There is a point though where you think, I pick it up easy. I go, mate, I'm fucking wasting my time because you're never going to do it. It's like...
What do you think, what separates those two people? So like someone asks you for advice, what makes you go, mate, you're wasting my time, or there's no way you're going to get a result, versus what do you see in them?
It's a fucking good question. I don't know how to pinpoint it, but I just see it straight away. Like you can almost hear it. It's like, I talk about property a lot. And I know you're not into property, but I fucking love it. And I tell somebody, hey, go and buy a rental property and do this, and and they either look at you like, mate, you're delusional. This is out of realm for like it's too big a dream. Or you get somebody that goes, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to call you tomorrow and I'm going to sit down with a broker and I'm going to write this down for me.
So they're already thinking, because you mentioned before that you focus on the process, not the outcome. Like you set the outcome, but then you go back to process. Most people focus on the outcome and not the process, which is why the process for them is always chaotic and a fuckery, and they're always stressed and shit because they think that it shouldn't be as hard as what it is, and they're not expecting all the problems. It seems like in that situation, if I can break it down, it almost seems like when you see them, you go, I'm giving them the advice. They're already processing it like, here's the next steps. Here's how we take action. Here's how we move forward. Here's how we get shit done, versus the person who just sits there and is like,
Yeah.
fuck, that sounds hard.
There's a few elements to it. I think jealousy crushes most people's dream of success because you give advice. They ask for advice, so they've already had to eat humble pie, which kills somebody that suffers from a high level of jealousy, right? Because they've already had to come cup in hand to ask for that advice because they haven't done it themselves. So they're already at a level of resentment. Let's say that's resentment level number one. Then you give them some advice, right? And usually males find it really hard to take the advice. Women are a little bit more, I find, receptive to that. Men, especially if it's a trade-based thing where a tradie is giving another tradie advice, pride kicks in. So then they're at resentment level number two. Then when you give examples of your successes, e.g. financial success or time success or work-life balance with your family success, they're the three facets. That builds another level of resentment because they're then hearing your story of inspiration. And by the time they're at resentment level 3, right, and I hope people are still following it or not.
No, you're good. It's good.
People then have forgotten that they've come to you to even ask the advice. So then they're negative towards it. They're not absorbing it all. So you're throwing advice that they've asked for, and they're that resentful at that point in the conversation that they never take it. And then there's the moment, I call it before the moment before the end in that conversation where you know they've switched off, but they just haven't quite finished the conversation with you. And then they finish it, and then you think you're never going to take any of that advice.
I've never thought about it through the lens of, what did you call it? It's not envy. What was it? Resentment.
Yeah.
I never thought about it through that lens. Because
but look at it from you. You give advice.
Yep.
And let's say you're at the top of the mountain in your field in South Australia at what you do. You'd say you'd be one of the top guys, right? You've got all the
globally,
perks
I would say.
Yeah, but I was trying to not make it sound like we're a bunch of arrogant dickheads on a podcast.
I don't care. I know what I am. Like
you love that.
I don't work with the top.
He said it. I didn't.
I don't
say
work
it.
with the top people in the world to just be SA's best.
But no, yeah, I knew you didn't like
fucking
that.
21 years of working my ass off, millions invested.
I was trying to be humble, but you're at the top of your game globally or nationwide, right? And you have the perks that show that, some materialistic things. You buy back the time because we see your videos about you having holidays and doing all that. That does build a certain amount of resentment for somebody that wants to be you. The whole entire point, because I'm fucking way off subject, is the person that will be successful does not sit in the space of resentment. They sit in the space of you've motivated them or inspired them. And that's the message to people. If you can get past the resentment and sit in the inspiration part, you will do better than you were doing yesterday.
I love it.
You like that?
It is deep because I think that's, a quote that I think about, and I can't remember who, it was a philosopher, but they said most people's dreams are destroyed by envy.
Absolutely.
Yep.
They are though, because you just tear somebody down straight away. Australians do it real well. They rip everyone down. Americans do it the other way. You pump it up, they fucking love it. They catch on and they drive harder. But look at it like this, man. If you can pick up 5% out of somebody, you taught me this. What does 5% growth in revenue look like in your particular business? So if you're turning over $5 million, and I can't add up or don't have a calculator, but what's 5% growth look like to you in those numbers? And you'll go, fuck, small price to pay, as you say to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I was just on a podcast before and we were talking about it and I was like, it costs a lot to be shit and it costs a lot to be good. You just got to figure out what cost you want because, you're going to pay for it somehow. And
1 bucket, 2 buckets, pick one.
And it takes a lot of time to be really shit in life and it takes a lot of time to be really good. So you just got to keep picking. You're going to get whatever, right? You have to pick it.
Look at this though. You spend the same amount of energy trying to save your business from the depths of despair when it's going tits up, staff leaving, bankruptcy, no clients coming in the door, problems with existing clients, right? You spend the same amount of energy going that way, going downhill, as you do going uphill, don't you?
100%.
Like it's the same level. It's the same stresses, just different ends of the scale. So pick which side you want to be on, man.
What makes you so good with your decision making? And I know, we need to start
That's
wrapping
an
up,
easy
but
one.
yeah, like most people, and I know we've spoken about this because even some people you've recommended to come to me who want to grow their business and so on, they'll sit on the fence for fucking years or go around in circles or they need to think about it, but they fuck around.
Yeah.
What stops you from fucking around and just making those decisions like, bang, this is what we're doing and you go?
I've probably got a level of self-confidence that sits right on the level of arrogance. And I know that that's not going to go down well whatsoever with heaps of people. But that's...
Mate, they're probably not our people. Don't worry about
But
it.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
Because it was a question for me, I make a decision and I'll go with it no matter what. I'll back it in until... Well, fuck, I just back it in.
Mm-hmm.
There's no until. There's my answer. I'm doing it. It's starting a shop. Going to start a shop. It's the wrong climate. Nobody's spending in retail. You can't compete with your competitors. They're too big to compete with. All of those things I don't even listen to. I just go, well, I'm fucking doing it. I'm backing myself in because I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where did that confidence come from?
Survival. Wanting more. Probably seeing my parents, my life, or security. Let's even take them out of it and your upbringing, because everybody does the whole woe is me, to success story fucking
Yeah, but
thing.
it's interesting. You grew up with people in the hood, right? Like I did.
100%.
And
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, they're in jail or dead.
It's true, but I almost don't like to use that as the stigma now. I like to look at it the other way and go, it's a self-belief from survival. So I want to survive better. Better than what? Better than yesterday. So that's my thing.
I think that there's a framework, and we haven't spoken about this, but I'll leave you with it to think about. What I noticed was there's something called Maslow's hierarchy, and it talks about like the survival needs and all that shit. But what I found was when I was working with clients, there's this progression from needs to wants. So some people like, I need to go to work. I need to get a job. I need to make money. But the thing is that those people very rarely get out of needing to do shit. And so everything in life feels like an obligation.
Right.
But then once you start making a little bit of money, you go, you know what I want? So you go from needs to wants. You know what? I want a better car. I want a nice house. And so then you go from needs to wants. But most people's wants lead back to their needs. So they go, I want a nicer house. Fuck, now I need to make money and now I need to go to work. And so they drop back in and they just loop their whole life.
Yeah. So what's the point?
But what I've found is there's a third level that most people never think about.
Tell me.
It's standards. And
Okay.
standards is, why do you have a green Lambo? Is it a want? Is it a need? Or is it just a fucking standard now?
Well, I'm going to have to think about that answer.
Yeah.
Because I want it, but it is probably a standard. I wouldn't want to go backwards.
And that's how you know I think you've elevated in life. When you start living by standards, you don't need to justify it. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone because it's just what you do.
But it's the same as saying on a less severe scale, it's like a micro goal. You set these goals and when you achieve it, you're not going to go backwards from that goal. So I guess your goal is your standard as well, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Or can it be?
It's just most people want to make money. They need to make money. But eventually you get to a point, you're just like, my standard is just, this is just the way I live. I got a big house because it's just my standard. You don't have to justify it to anyone. Whereas when you're in wants and needs, you're always justifying.
But it depends on those standards as well. Like you're talking from a financial point of view. Those standards can be in how you conduct yourself.
I think it's everything. When you're a
Yeah.
standards person, you become a standards person.
So you can sort of go, I'm not going to walk into a room and give somebody a serve. I'm going to walk into the room and give my team a message and conduct yourself to a different standard.
Yeah. But if you had to give one piece of advice, so based on what you know now to where you were when we met, if you had to give someone one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
In terms of business or personal?
Both. Give us one of each. Or you can give us 10 of each, like we can go for another 20.
In terms of personal, it is you can reinvent yourself anytime you want. So what I mean by that, I came to you in a pretty dark sort of space. 5 years later, I've reinvented myself probably multiple times over to who I am and where I am today. So that's from a personal point of view. In terms of business, what advice would I give somebody? You've got to believe in you've got to be obsessed with your belief. Your vision board, you've got to manifest that to a point where nothing and nobody is ever going to take that away from you. And it has to be an obsession that you almost live by, if that's what you want. And if it's not what you want, well, time will tell and it'll fall away along the wayside. And those things on your vision board, let's say, you'll cross off rather than tick off. And then you'll know.
I think that that's such an awesome way, because anyone who's probably listening to this podcast, from what you've spoken about, there's this obsession with business. But when I spend time with you, you're very rarely actually doing business. Most of the time, like I called you the other week and it was on a Thursday afternoon or Friday afternoon. You're like, hey man, I'm at the kids' soccer. I'll call you back later.
Yeah.
And you actually spend a lot of time with family. You spend, you know, a lot of time doing your podcast with your brother and stuff like that. You probably spend less time in business than I would say probably 90% of business owners.
I would probably spend 30% of my life thinking or working in business. But it's all a business, isn't it? This is the deep part to wrap it up on, right? You're a brand, yeah?
Yeah.
Everybody in business is a brand. Tim, the cameraman's a brand. He's not a global brand or a brand like Coca-Cola, but we're all mini micro brands. So it's about how you are and how you live daily. And that all reflects into the financial side of your business.
Awesome, mate. Where can people find you? Like if anyone wants to get in touch, or how do people find your podcast?
Well, I'm not big on the socials, but Bathrooms by Design if you need a bathroom. And we've got a little podcast, The Brothers Mind, which Michael's been on. So, but you'll find me if you need me.
Done. I like it.
You like that? Majestical.
Awesome.
Let's leave it at that.
The mystery man.
Yeah.
Most people waste their life, and I just don't want you to be one of them.